Please stand for the singing of the national anthem by our very own University of Delaware chorale.
Good morning. Distinguished guests, visiting representatives, and members and friends of the university community, welcome to the inauguration of Dr. Dennis Assanis as the 28th President of the University of Delaware. My name is John Cochran, and I have the pleasure of serving as Chairman of the University Board of Trustees. It is my honor to officially call to order today's ceremony. This is a special day for our institution. A presidential inauguration clearly signals the beginning of a new chapter in our long and very proud history. It is an occasion for celebration and reflection. It is an opportunity to reaffirm our core values and renew our dedication to our fundamental mission of scholarship, research, and service. It is a moment to remind ourselves that what we do here truly matters, not only today, but for generations to come. Here's a snapshot of what our great university stands for, past, present, and future.
Please welcome Babatunde Ogunnaike, the Dean of our College of Engineering, who will read a poem he has written for the occasion.
Dawn at the well of inspiration. Before morning breaks at dawn, as the fading nocturnal essence exhales on the eternal lawn, for one brief, lingering, magical moment, in a final ritual act of peaceful atonement, the night bequeaths on the morning grass translucent pearls of fragile dew to glisten and shine when dawn breaks anew. When morning breaks at last and the eastern sky explodes on horizon vast, the golden exuberance of the reincarnated sun announces triumphantly the start of a long-awaited run as the lone blue hen on the distant hill crows, imploring the dawn to reveal what only the day knows. Build me a house with 5 pillars strong. Lead me to the land where the excellent belong, where seekers seek and boldly chart tomorrow's skies, where creators make the dreams of prophets arise, where teachers inspire and learners acquire confident, nimble hands to fashion for humanity's throng a future woven with better strands. We will burnish the blue to a cobalt brilliance. We will polish the gold to a glorious radiance. We will make the good great, the great excellent, and the excellent we will make transcendent. The valleys shall be exalted, and the mountain spires made strong. The mangled corners will be straight as we right the shameful wrongs. And when evening comes at day's end, before the glowing orange ball below the distant horizon descends, may we look back and see deep meaning and great good we have wrought on the sand of humanity where once we all stood. And so today, with joy and great expectation, let us draw water from the well of inspiration.
Thank you, Dean Okanagan. Thank you very much. We're very fortunate to have with us today Dr. Mary Sue Coleman. Dr. Coleman is the president of the Association of American Universities and former president of the University of Michigan and the University of Iowa. She is a vocal champion for public support of the important research and scholarship performed by institutions of higher education. She knows firsthand the incredible value of research universities like Michigan, Iowa, and Delaware for their indisputable benefit to both individuals and to our society. At the University of Michigan, for example, Dr. Coleman oversaw the groundbreaking partnership with Google to digitize the university's 7 million volume library. She forged partnerships with universities around the world. She revitalized student living and learning experiences, and she worked tirelessly to promote economic revitalization and innovation within the state of Michigan. Time magazine named her one of the nation's 10 best college presidents, and the American Council on Education honored her with its Lifetime Achievement Award in 2014. In addition, President Obama called on Dr. Coleman's expertise to help launch the Advanced Manufacturing Partnership, and Commerce Secretary Gary Locke enlisted her leadership on the National Advisory Council on Innovation and Entrepreneurship. Please welcome Dr. Coleman.
Mr. Vice President, Governor Markell, Chairman Cochran, and members of the Board of Trustees, President and First Lady Assanis, faculty, staff, students, alumni, and friends of the University of Delaware. Today, together, we make history in shaping the future of one of our country's oldest universities. It is my distinct and personal pleasure to welcome Dennis Assanis to the university presidency and to join in celebrating his inauguration as the 28th president of the University of Delaware. Chairman Cochran, you and your fellow trustees made an exceptional decision in selecting this remarkable scholar to lead Delaware. He is an admired engineer and an accomplished leader. Today, more than ever, the great American institution we know as the public university demands strong, effective leaders like Dennis Assanis, committed to diversity, tolerance, and deep public service. President Assanis and I share a powerful experience in having been members of the University of Michigan community. Like Delaware, Michigan is a public institution and the state's flagship university. Both universities recognize and promote talent. We see that this morning in Sean Gao, a distinguished professor of music on the Delaware faculty and the holder of 2 degrees from Michigan. The New York Times has rightly called him a rare and soulful virtuoso. I've long enjoyed his playing and career trajectory, and I'm delighted to share the stage with him. Where Delaware has blue and yellow, Michigan has maize and blue. And there is simply no peer to the winged helmet. It is the most recognized symbol in college sports, and both Wolverines and Blue Hens are proud to wear it. Dennis spent 17 years at Michigan as an award-winning teacher and researcher before becoming provost and chief academic officer at Stony Brook University. I spent 12 years as Michigan's president before retiring, a lifestyle I promptly flunked. At the same time Dennis was assuming the UD presidency here in New York, I was beginning my role as president of the Association of American Universities in Washington. While our titles and responsibilities have changed through the years, Dennis and I share a deep respect for the role of American higher education in an educated citizenry. We have much work to do. Our country is emerging from a profoundly contentious presidential election. We've seen roommates divide, friendships collapse, and families fracture. As a nation, we are emotionally raw, and the healing is slow. One of the great essayists of the 20th century was Lewis Thomas, a physician, academic, and poet who wrote clearly about the human condition. Our behavior toward each other, he said, is the strangest, most unpredictable, and most unaccountable of all the phenomena with which we are obliged to live. In all nature, there is nothing so threatening to humanity as humanity itself. Or to quote a lesser philosopher, the cartoon character Pogo Possum, we've met the enemy and he is us. We're witnessing this in the disturbing rise of harassment and bigotry in the wake of November 8th. The Southern Poverty Law Center last week issued a report about a classroom climate since the election. 80% of the 10,000 teachers surveyed said they were seeing heightened anxiety among minority students. Muslims, immigrants, LGBT students, and African Americans in the classrooms were worried about how the election outcome will affect them. 1 out of every 4 teachers surveyed knew of fights, assaults, and threats tied directly to campaign rhetoric. This included slurs, swastikas, and Confederate flags. And there is a perverse bipartisanship in these assaults, with students saying they were targeting each other based on which candidate they supported. Just as troubling as these reports about students is how the election is affecting teachers themselves. Half of the educators surveyed said they were reluctant to discuss the election outcome in their classrooms. Half. These are K through 12 educators whose students will one day be our students. Our society is mired in fake news, cruel stereotypes, and entrenched biases, all of which can be countered by critical thinking, thoughtful listening, and a level of tolerance found in our universities. In short, we must learn to engage rather than enrage. The importance of civil discourse is on the minds of virtually every university president today. A commitment to free speech and expression and to equal treatment of all members of our society is the very lifeblood of our institutions, from Michigan to Stony Brook to Delaware. We must embrace students of all upbringings and beliefs, and we must be diligent in recruiting faculty of all backgrounds and experiences so that they may further enrich the academic fabric of our universities. All walks of life must be present and welcome. Diversity is the foundation of academic excellence, and with diversity comes the importance of tolerance. All of us, as students, scholars, parents, and citizens, have the obligation to uphold and promote tolerance. Universities have a special responsibility to promote thoughtful discourse, while at the same time addressing the inequities of society that have come to the fore in this campaign. This is why Dennis Assanis is an exceptional choice to lead this university at this time. This is not easy work, but it will not discourage him. It will motivate him, and he will motivate you. He believes fiercely in the diversity of ideas and perspectives. He promotes the value of listening and the strengths of different backgrounds and cultures. I love what he said after being appointed president. If you want to go fast, you go alone. If you want to go far, you go together. A society that has educated citizens can go very far. He embodies this promise of education and inclusion. He is an immigrant and the first in his family to attend college. His immense appetite for knowledge led to 5 diplomas, including 4 advanced degrees from MIT. His love of teaching, engineering, and the liberal arts is unparalleled. He believes in an undergraduate experience that changes student lives in small classes with hand-on experiences, innovative technologies, and remarkable teaching. At Michigan, he was a Thurnau professor, an honor bestowed on the best teachers. With all his accomplishments and appointments, Dennis has never abandoned his roots. He is proud of his Greek heritage, as well he should be. Greece is the birthplace of democracy and the home of Western philosophy. It gave us Socrates, Aristotle, and Plato. As a nation, we would do well to heed the words of Socrates. There is only one good, knowledge, and one evil, ignorance. Good versus evil, knowledge versus ignorance. The American university today must play superhero and institutional Apollo of light and truth. I am confident Dennis, as your new leader, will bear this responsibility with grace and dedication. A University of Delaware education is the perfect skill set for the chaotic world today's graduates are inheriting. One of the hallmarks of UD is the importance you place on study abroad. You were the first university in the country to see how valuable it is to expose students to new ideas and different cultures. My understanding is that your program grew out of the single experience of a faculty member who, while serving overseas in World War I, saw the senselessness of war. He also came to know the citizens of another country, in this case France, and realized how the next generation might benefit from the positive exchange of ideas. That the University of Delaware now has some 70 study abroad programs on 6 continents speaks to the value you place on creating global citizens. Our country is better for them and for their experiences, and we will look to them in the days ahead. A rise in intolerance and bigotry is sadly cyclical in American history. With each new era, we must commit to learning from our past. Today marks the 75th anniversary of the attack on Pearl Harbor. It remains one of the most devastating moments in American history and propelled our nation into a world war on 2 fronts. That fateful day also triggered one of the most shameful chapters in our nation's history, and that was the treatment of Americans of Japanese descent. Motivated by fear, hate, and ignorance, we imprisoned thousands of our fellow citizens based solely on their surnames, their physical characteristics, and their heritage. This is where the path of intolerance can lead. But I am an optimist. It is the characteristic that every educator shares. We believe in young people and in the future. We may feel challenged, yet we have an enduring faith in the power of creating and sharing knowledge. We know ideas can and do change the world. It is essential that we raise our voices as individuals and as an academic community to draw attention to prejudice, discrimination, and neglect that threaten our society. We must be champions for an atmosphere of free inquiry, one that encourages having all participate equally, and wherein the dignity of all is respected. Our campuses must be models for the greater society, and our graduates must be ambassadors for civility, mutual respect, and social justice. It is the mark of an educated mind, Socrates said, to be able to entertain a thought without accepting it. We are gathered here today because of a shared belief in the public good of higher education and the infinite power of ideas. We are here to celebrate a new chapter for the University of Delaware at the time of a new era for the United States. And we enthusiastically applaud and offer our support for a new leader, perfect for the opportunities that await Delaware and all of higher education. Thank you.
Please welcome the Governor of the State of Delaware, Mr. Jack Markell.
Thank you. Thank you, and let me start by saying to Mary Sue Coleman, that was a fantastic speech that needed to be given, and we are thrilled that you gave it here at the inauguration of Dennis Assanis, but it's a message that really needs to be heard across the country, and I hope that you will do everything you can to make sure that the message you delivered today is one that's heard across campuses around the country. So thank you very much. Earlier this year at the graduation at Delaware State University, Vice President Biden stood for what I understand was 5 hours out in the absolute pouring rain because he wanted to make sure he shook the hand of every graduate who walked across that stage. So although we have not discussed it this morning, I'm guessing that I speak for him and as somebody myself who has endured more than my share of outside inaugurations and swearings in, how much we appreciate the great venue that you've chosen for this morning. Leaders of our institutions of higher education have some of the most important and challenging jobs in shaping the future of our state and our country. The forces of globalization and technological innovation have created phenomenal opportunities, making our world smaller and more prosperous in so many ways. But as we have too often failed to recognize, they also threaten the livelihoods of many of our friends and neighbors. Automation means that employers can produce more with far fewer employees, and globalization gives them more choices than ever of where to invest and hire workers. And as a result, the success of Delawareans depends more than ever on whether our people acquire the appropriate skills. And we count on our universities to align their work with this reality, while also recognizing that we continue to rely on them to provide the well-rounded education through which students become informed and active citizens who make good decisions in every part of their lives. That is an enormous mission, and I applaud the University of Delaware's Board of Trustees for finding a leader perfectly suited to chart the university's path forward in this new era. Dr. Assanis has pioneered groundbreaking scientific research. He's used that experience to impart valuable lessons and to enhance the skills of future researchers, innovators, and entrepreneurs. And as a leader in higher education, he has been determined to pursue the simultaneously vital efforts of expanding STEM opportunities while maintaining a strong commitment to the humanities and social sciences. And through all that he has accomplished, he has demonstrated an innate drive toward providing more people with a better life and pathways to success. Now, Dr. Assanis' work epitomizes a Greek term unique to that language. And I'm getting on very sketchy ground here, talking to the Greeks about Greek terms. But the term I'm referring to is philotimo. Did I get the pronunciation correct?
Philotimo.
Philotimo, thank you. Philotimo. The word's meaning is not found in the literal English translation, love of honor, but rather in the character and virtuous approach to life of the Greek people, to whom this word is ascribed. Philotimo represents a series of thoughts and emotions that negotiate the intersection between individual virtues such as honor, integrity, and dignity, with more social values such as friendship, honesty and trade, and humanism. It represents a way of being that fulfills a higher calling to make righteous judgments in response to life's decision points while also pursuing a brighter world for those around you. And today we celebrate the ways in which Dr. Assanis brings his concept to the University of Delaware and to the many critical partnerships in which the university participates throughout our state. And we have the opportunity to commit to infusing the message of philotimo into the work that we all must do together to fulfill our shared goals. The university is at the forefront of Delaware's innovation boom, from the research and development growth underway at the STAR campus to the new ICE lab that better engages students in science and engineering and problem solving. The university is expanding work in high-demand fields like nursing while also achieving in performance halls and on athletic fields. And you've done so while preserving your mission to develop knowledge and foster the free exchange of ideas. So given this foundation, as well as the incredible experience and track record and vision that Dr. Assanis possesses, we believe the university is positioned to continue to adapt and to excel at the vital roles of higher education in the 21st century, just as Mary Sue Coleman outlined. So I congratulate the search committee and the University Board of Trustees for really an excellent, excellent choice. To Dr. Assanis, I congratulate you and Eleni, to your kids, both of whom are here today, and your mom, who has come from Athens. I congratulate the entire university community on starting this next chapter in what is already such a terrific legacy of preparing new generations to thrive while making such incredible contributions to the quality of life in our state. Thank you and congratulations. So it is, I have the great honor to introduce the Vice President. And none of us are surprised that he's come back to the University of Delaware today. It is hard to imagine that there has ever been another Vice President in the country who has remained so connected to his home state while serving as Vice President. Whether it's visiting our universities, and as I mentioned, what I said a few moments ago about the graduation at Delaware State is no exaggeration. It was at least 5 hours of pouring rain. Dr. Biden's continuing connection to and commitment to Delaware Tech is well known. And Mr. Vice President, although I'm not a University of Delaware alumnus, my dad taught here for 35 years. I grew up in Newark, and I know I speak for the entire university community in saying that our pride knows no bounds. You have served our state so well in the Senate for 36 years. Your work as Vice President in advancing the future of the prosperity of our country and our work with allies and others around the world has been extraordinary. And we still get to call you Joe because you would have it no other way. And I just, I cannot tell you how thrilled we are to welcome you back once again to the campus that you love so dearly and that loves you right back.
Thank you, Governor. Thank you very much. Thank you. Governor Markell, Jack, you've been a good friend a long time. Thank you for that lovely introduction. And John Cochran, thank you for taking on the role of being chairman of the board. They couldn't pick anyone better. And Dr. Mary Sue Coleman, Barack was right about you. He was right about you. And folks, Dean, you know, my dad always wanted me to be an engineer, for real. And my dad never went to college, but he was his great regret in his life. And he wanted me to go to Delaware because of the great School of Engineering, which was always ranked at the top of the list. And but had I known that a dean of engineering appreciated poetry, I might have gone. I didn't think it was possible. I don't know what the hell happened. The Irish of me got hold, and it was the poetry that got me here. God, I could have been good. You think I'm kidding, but I'm not kidding completely. Mr. President, it's good to be home, and it is home. I want to thank you for inviting Jill and me and my sister Valerie. Jill, would you stand up? I'm going to embarrass you. And my sister Valerie, my best friend of my life. Would you stand up, Valerie? My sister's now at the United Nations, and I watched her deliver an address to the General Assembly, and I wrote her a note. I said, Valerie, we had this management of campaigns backwards. I should have been managing yours all these years. So, among us, we have 6 degrees. I have 1. Valerie and I used to be about 3 years apart. Now we're 20 years apart in age. I don't know how the hell that happened. But everybody believes it when I say it, when they look at both of us. We took basically the same courses at Delaware. This is truth. She graduated with honors. I graduated. Then I met this University of Delaware undergraduate who I had the great good fortune of marrying. Matter of fact, whenever Jill wants to leave messages for me, she leaves them on the mirror in the bathroom. She tapes them on the mirror, for real. And the last one I saw is, stop trying to make me fall in love with you. I've been trying like hell for all these years. But Jill has 4 degrees, 1 undergraduate and 3 graduate degrees. She has her undergraduate and doctorate degree from here. So you've got the wrong Biden speaking today. And a lot of Bidens, including my brother's family and my Jill's family, have graduated from this great university. As a U.S. Senator and as a Vice President for a long time, just like all of you, people will say, my son or daughter going on to this university, that university, where do you think they should go? And I've been given the same advice for 40 years. Go to the university you can get into now that you're confident you wouldn't be able to get in 10 years from now. That's what I did. That's what I did. I look around every time I'm here and I think, thank God I got in when I did. We, as you probably noticed nationally, we make no bones about our pride in our state and our pride in the University of Delaware. This place did more than educate me. It helped me make sense of the chaos that surrounded the time when I graduated. Doctor, you talked about the difficult time now. I was in New York last night speaking at the Robert F. Kennedy Ripple of Hope Award, and the honoree before me talked about how difficult the times are now. And I sat and I thought to myself, the truth of the matter is that the year I graduated, 1965, and then 1968 from law school, were considerably more chaotic, considerably more divided, considerably more contentious, considerably more divisive than anything that exists today. You know, this institution prepared me to help lead the change that was taking place all across America. And it did that for the past decade under the leadership of my good friend, Pat Harker, who's now up at the Fed. And it does it today with the new generation of students, and under your leadership, Mr. President, it's going to continue to grow. I remember November 22nd, 1963, sitting in the steps of Hullion Hall. It was a beautiful day. I just come out of an English class, and we learned that John F. Kennedy, our hero, had been assassinated. And it was a stunning, stunning bit of news. The campus was nothing but absolutely deadly quiet. Deadly quiet. Hardly anyone moved, because we were told, we all believed, Democrats and Republicans, that this was the future, that politics was honorable and noble. That spring I graduated from law school, my only two political heroes of my life were assassinated. Dr. King on April the 8th, and then Robert Kennedy on June 6th, the day I walked across the stage to receive my diploma. The only political hero I've ever had in my entire life was Robert Kennedy. The Vietnam War was raging. Wilmington, Delaware, my hometown, was in flames. The National Guard stationed on every corner, many with drawn bayonets. The only city in America occupied by the military since the end of the Civil War. But I had the great good fortune of the professors who helped me understand that change was happening. Professors, some of you may remember, like Dr. Paul Dolan, Dr. Belinsky, Dr. David Ingersoll, one of the most insightful people I've ever met in all my career. They not only taught me, but they advised me. They challenged me. But most importantly, they argued that it was within our power to fix America because of the incredible foundation upon which this country is built. That's not hyperbole. We're the most unique nation in the history of the world. That notion was reinforced by my parents, who taught me that what Americans value most is equality, justice, fairness. My dad's expression, everyone, without exceptions, is entitled to be treated with dignity. Joey, a job's about a lot more than a paycheck. It's about your dignity. It's about your place in the community. It's about who you are. It's about being able to look your child in the eye and say, honey, it's going to be okay. It's that basic. Ideas that prevail over intolerance and ignorance, and what my father thought was the greatest sin of all, the abuse of power, whether it's political, economic, or physical power. I'm always asked, why did I write the violence against women? Why am I so passionate about this? Was my mother victimized? It was my father, who was a gracious, graceful man. It said the cardinal sin of all sins was a man to raise his hand to a woman or a child. Everything I learned here at this university, the women and men that I was exposed to, gave me confidence in what I had been taught and gave me confidence in myself. I look back on it and why in God's name would I, coming from Mayfield, a 2,800 square foot house, 4 kids, 3 bedrooms, and a grandpop living with us, why would I think at age 29 I could announce for the United States Senate and win? What possibly could make me think that? I'll tell you who made me think that. Paul Dolan, probably the most popular professor on this campus when I was here. When there was talk of my running, it was just chatter because they couldn't find anybody else to run for the Senate against a really honorable man named J. Caleb Boggs, who had an 84% favorable rating. And I would have been running if I ran, and I did, with George McGovern, who only got about 38% of the vote in this state. But I remember seeing Paul Dolan. He called me. And he said, "You should run, Joe." That made me believe. That made me believe that I was worthy of doing it. Because if Paul Dolan thought I should do it, all you professors, you have such profound influence. He told me that even though I was 29, I had the obligation to engage. I remember John Kennedy came to literally connect I-95 outside of Newark. It was a big ceremony when I was in college. And I had a friend of mine in political science class who was a good guy, still a friend, but a bit irreverent. But he loved Kennedy, and I wasn't, but he went down to the ribbon cutting. And Paul Dolan saw on television him standing behind the president with his hat on. And in class, I won't mention his name because I don't have permission. He said, "John, stand up." He said, "Haven't I taught you better?" I saw this, and he held up a picture. He said, "That's the President of the United States of America. Take your hat off." And then he told us a story about his father. He was from South Philly, sitting on his father's shoulders. And Calvin Coolidge was in a parade, and it was cold. And he said my father disliked Calvin Coolidge. But as he passed by, he said, my father reached up, grabbed the hat off my head and said, "Son, the President of the United States is passing." These and so many other just basic values about decency and honor and respect I learned here. And as outrageous it is, I look back on it, I left here really believing I could end the war in Vietnam. I mean, I really believed it. It turns out, I sat across from President Ford in the Oval Office of the Foreign Relations Committee and said, "Mr. President, with all due respect, you have not told us your plan to end the war." And it's a matter of history. And he turned to Dr. Kissinger and said, "Henry, go ahead and tell them." I thought of Dr. Dolan at that moment, literally, not figuratively. I believed, because of Dr. Ingersoll, that I could, a kid with no money, no background, I could actually do something about protecting the movement I've been involved in since I was in high school, the civil rights movement. And I could really get engaged with it. I could do something about what was just being talked about with Kennedy's non-proliferation treaty. I could do something about nuclear weapons. What in the hell made me think that, other than you? other than my professors. That I could demand, as one of the great people I've served with, Mike Castle. Mike, I didn't see you there. And I mean that sincerely, one of the most honorable men I've ever known in my life. What made us think, Mike, at that age, we could do these things? That I could demand that my sister, I graduated and I barely graduated. My sister graduated honors. But people still thought, you can go be chairman of the board of the DuPont company. You can be president. You can be whatever you want to be. Now, Valerie, you'll make a great teacher or a wonderful nurse. My sister's IQ is higher. Her accomplishments are greater. Why? So now, like all of you, I'm determined. There's not a single solitary thing my 4 granddaughters can't do that my grandson could do. Not a single solitary thing in the world they cannot do. And that's exactly what this great research university is doing today. You're teaching, advising, you're challenging 18,500 undergraduates, 138 programs, 3,600 graduate students, 121 master's programs, 62 doctoral programs. Not just to be part of change, but to be the change. To be the change. I graduated on the Mall in front of Hullion Hall with 862 graduates. You're preparing students today, in today's complex global world, global problems. Almost a third of the students here, as I pointed out, study abroad in 40 different countries. Almost 40% are studying in STEM fields. The University START campus, science, technology, advanced research, is already manufacturing clean fuel cell power sources that are used by companies like Google and Walmart and Coca-Cola, researching zero emissions vehicles with the support of the U.S. Department of Energy and your United States senators. Training the next generation of healthcare leaders, not only in the classroom, but in research laboratories and clinics that are open to the public now. And now we have one of the great engineers in this country, one of the great leaders to lead this institution. The thing that I like about President Assanis that impressed me was that you got your doctorate at one of the other great land-grant universities, MIT. I just point out it's a land-grant university, so just like us, I just want to make it absolutely clear, as I do to our Secretary of Energy every day. But that was before I learned it was you got 4 graduate degrees you earned at MIT. I guess you didn't know where the hell to go. You couldn't leave. I mean, I realize land-grant schools are embracing, but for almost a decade at the University of Michigan, you pioneered efficient internal combustion engines that use less fuel and lower emissions. And 20 years before it became standard practice, you used online education to reach your students in more places and to help them learn ways to work within their confines. At Stony Brook, you broke down silos between departments and academic disciplines, kind of like you did here with the dean in poetry and engineering. And rather than add a position in one department, which I really think is exciting, maybe because I'm doing so much work on the cancer side of things these days, you actually have faculty propose clusters across several disciplines and hired professors who could teach across departments: computer science and social science, environmental science and engineering, public policy and management. They're no longer divisible. Your faculty thrived and your students thrived. And Dr. Assanis, you called UDEL's START campus a dreamland. It's a place where students and professors are turning dreams into developments that are literally going to change the world. This entire institution is a dreamland. And it matters for our country. It matters for our state. We're on the cusp of some of the most astonishing breakthroughs in the history of mankind. Science, technology, socially. that are going to change the way we live, the way the whole world works. I've spent a lot of time with the President's PIAB board, the Nobel laureates that advise the President from all disciplines on things that are coming up in the future. The most difficult speech assignment I ever received was I was asked by the Davos World Conference, would I address 2,800 CEOs and 85 heads of state on the fourth industrial revolution. Will there be middle-class jobs? Not a small problem, as the governor referenced. There's a lot of people being left behind with all this gigantic progress. Everybody wonders, why are those guys white guys, quote unquote, between 40 and 55 angry? Because they're lost, so many of them. The highest suicide rate in the United States, not young kids in bad neighborhoods. It's white men between 40 and 55. The highest use of opioids and overdoses, white men between the age of 40 and 55. The only cadre of Americans that actually has seen their life expectancy decline in the last 100 years. White men between the ages of 40 and 55. They're not, as portrayed, a bunch of racists and bigots. They voted for Barack Obama and me. So the real hard part, and the thing that I think is so important, Doctor, that you're doing, is how do we integrate the social sciences you're teaching here with the physical sciences? Because I think we're going to look back in this period and we're going to say, my God, the revolution the world went through globalization, digitalization, the rise of robots, the increase in productivity without man. But it's up to the students and the graduates of this great institution to change the world, to translate these unprecedented capabilities into greater measures of happiness and meaning as well as productivity. Not just for us, but for the world. That will be under your leadership, Mr. President, an awesome, awesome responsibility. But let me conclude by saying, welcome my alma mater. Lots of luck in your senior year. And we're expecting a whole lot from you because we know you're capable of a whole lot more. I don't think our university could be in any better hands than yours. God bless you, Mr. President, and may God protect our troops. Thank you. Last time somebody stood this long to clap for me, a guy in the back was a labor hall, yelled, "Joe, it's okay. It's still raining outside." It's not raining. It's okay. Sit down.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. It's always an honor to have you on campus. The University of Delaware is filled with incredibly talented artists, both students and faculty. This morning we have for your enjoyment a performance by one of our most creative talents, Sean Gao, the trustee's distinguished professor of music. Recognized as one of the world's most successful performing artists of his generation from the People's Republic of China, Professor Gao's musical integrity and virtuoso technique have gained accolades from audiences and reviewers from around the world. He performs on a rare violin owned by the university and made by master Italian craftsman G.P. Chirotti in 1794. Today, Professor Gao is joined by pianist Dr. Matthew Brower, Arhu soloist Kathy Yang. Together, they make up the UD Ensemble in Residence Six Wire. Please help me welcome them to our stage.
Good morning, everybody. We're very honored to be here. We have two short pieces for you this morning. The first piece is called Sunshine, Chinese folk songs arranged by Six Wire. Enjoy. Thank you all very much. We will share one more piece of music to celebrate today. Libertango by Astor Piazzolla.
Thank you, Professor Gale, Dr. Brower, and Ms. Yang, for that wonderful performance. We very much enjoyed it. We now turn to the formal installation of Dr. Dennis Assanis as our president. Dr. Assanis, would you please join me at the podium? And we would like you to stand right over here where that exit is. Follow directions, good. One of the most important responsibilities of the Board of Trustees is to select a university president. It is the president's charge to implement the trustees' policies and provide vision and leadership to the university. When we began our search for a new president last year, we looked for an exceptional individual, an inspirational educator, a brilliant and prolific scholar and researcher, a dedicated leader blessed with a rare combination of both practical experience and a daring vision for the future. We found all those admirable qualities in Dr. Assanis. His academic and professional accomplishments make him an ideal president for the University of Delaware. As a teacher and researcher at Iowa and Michigan, and as provost of Stony Brook, Dr. Assanis successfully advanced academic excellence in the sciences, engineering, humanities, and the arts. Through his teaching, advising, and professional service, he has proven himself a generous scholar. He is eager to share his extensive knowledge of the world and his belief in the transformative power of education. At the University of Delaware, Dr. Assanis has already laid out and begun leading us on a clear and resolute path forward. He is dedicated to building on our already excellent resources and extend our reach to more students and more communities around the world. What's more, I have found Dr. Assanis to be a fine man of integrity, honesty, and compassion. Jeff. As was stated at the inauguration of Dr. Walter Julian in 1920, this chain of office symbolizes your presidential responsibility that, quote, no student enters here unprepared, nor departs from here unfit, end quote. Dr. Assanis, on behalf of the Board of Trustees of the University of Delaware, and in its name, I do hereby install you as President of the University of Delaware and bestow upon you all the rights, privileges, and opportunities to that office appertaining and impose upon you all the duties and responsibilities. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the 28th President of the University of Delaware, Dr. Dennis Assanis.
Congratulations, Mr. President. Wow.
Chairman Cochran, trustees of the University of Delaware, and distinguished guests, thank you for entrusting me with the high honor and the awesome responsibility of serving as the 28th president of this very fine institution. Thank you. Amazing faculty, staff, students, and alumni, thank you for the encouragement and the confidence you have shown me as we embark on this journey together, as well as for your warmth and affection that you've shown to me and my family all this time. It is a real pleasure and an honor to be here with you today in the Roselle Center for the Arts, and even more so because for this very special occasion, we have with us today President Emeritus David Roselle, who served our institution with distinction for 17 years, and our beloved former First Lady, Louise Roselle. Let's recognize them. Please stand up. we're deeply honored to be joined today by the Vice President of the United States, Joe Biden. As well as the Second Lady of the United States, Dr. Jill Biden. The kind of couple we refer to around here as double Dells. And also an outstanding alumna and former homecoming queen, Valerie Biden Owens. The Biden family often tells us that their hearts belong to Delaware. And you should know, Mr. Vice President, that you are first in our hearts. We're also honored by the presence of all our political leaders here today, and of course, Governor Markell, who has done an amazing job. Let's give him a hand. And all the members of the General Assembly and local governments. Welcome and thank you for your invaluable support to this institution. Dr. Coleman, thank you so much for your inspiring words this morning. You truly personify academic excellence. Not just me, but for everybody else. You have been a real role model in the world of higher education. There is a real reason why you're one of the best 10 presidents ever in the university's history. Thank you. Tundi, singharitiria. Tundi is learning Greek. That's my purpose in life, to teach him Greek. He just reciprocated Evcharisto, if you couldn't hear it. So I'm deeply touched by your lovely poem, by your generosity, and your commitment to this institution and to engineering. You truly exemplify what I would call the Renaissance engineer of the 21st century. Thank you. Former colleagues, students, and friends from MIT, the University of Illinois, the University of Michigan, Stony Brook University, the National Academy of Engineering. It has been a privilege for me to cross paths with you all these years. It is gratifying to have today in the audience 5 of my own former students who have become now professors at prestigious institutions and continue the legacy. Let's recognize them. Also, John and Bev Holt, who had endowed my professorship back at the University of Michigan and who have become lifelong friends ever since for my family. John and Bev, please stand up. And President Samuel Stanley from Stony Brook University. Sam, where are you? Sam, thank you for the incredible opportunity to work together and learn from each other while being a phenomenal university. Thank you. And thank you, of course, to my family. First and foremost, my First Lady of 36 years, Eleni. Eleni. She's my partner in everything we've accomplished in life together. And our 2 wonderful sons, Nicholas and Dimitris. Please stand up. Your love and support inspire me every day as a reminder of the purpose of achievement and the true meaning of life. Thank you, guys. And to my late father, Nicholas, and my mother, Sandy, who is here with us today. Sandy, could you please stand up? Thank you for your unconditional love and also for enabling me to follow my ambitions. As Vice President Biden just told me, you should be very proud. You've done well. And from my entire family and myself, first of all, a big thank you to everybody who has helped to put together this great celebration of our university today. And a special thanks to Shan Gao and his amazing trio, and also Paul Head and our chorale students. Thank you. Words cannot fully express how deeply honored I am that all of you have come here today together to celebrate this next chapter in the proud and remarkable history of the University of Delaware. For more than 270 years, this institution has brought forth knowledge and enlightenment, has contributed scientific achievements and profound ideas, has transformed lives and changed the world. Indeed, UD has grown into one of the top academic institutions in the country, now educating more than 20,000 students annually and drawing on the loyal support of more than 175,000 alumni worldwide. This is a special place. This university and the state of Delaware. Thomas Jefferson once called Delaware a jewel among the states, recognizing that its small size is an essential element of its strength. Few other states can so easily bring together leaders of the government, industry, and community around a table to solve problems, seize opportunities, and advance the interests of their people. It is big thinking on a human scale. And the University of Delaware is a major hub in the rich network of talent that canvasses our state. No matter where I go, I meet alumni, parents, friends of UD. Everyone, and I really mean it, literally everyone, has a connection to this university, and oftentimes more than one. This state's culture of connectivity is one of its most significant assets. As human beings, that's why we all come here. We want to be connected to something far more powerful than ourselves as individuals. And I'm honored to be part of all those connections here and now at this great hub of knowledge and discovery, our University of Delaware. We have come a long way since 1743, when Reverend Francis Allison founded our school. In his day, Reverend Allison was considered the greatest classical scholar in America. He believed that a broad and rigorous education in languages, literatures, mathematics, science, and the arts was essential if one aspired to become a productive citizen of the world. We all continue to share this belief. 3 young individuals in his graduating class, George Reed, James Smith, and Thomas McKean, went on to become leaders of the American Revolution and signed the Declaration of Independence. George Reed also helped draft the Constitution and urged his fellow Delawareans to ratify it. They did so exactly 229 years ago today, making Delaware the first state and a leader in our young nation's pursuit of a more perfect union. So, it is fitting that we're gathered here today on December 7th, known as Delaware Day, to honor the past, celebrate the present, and imagine the future of this venerable institution. Throughout our history, Reverend Allison's belief in the power of knowledge to prepare us for the future has been our guiding mission. As the first university in the first state and the 8th oldest institution in the country, we have a strong history of commitment and focus to build our nation. To educate our citizens, create knowledge, and improve our world, we became a land-grant institution in 1870. And as we furthered our mission, a sea grant and space grant institution as well. To build bridges of peace and global understanding, we launched the nation's first study abroad program in 1923. To defend our country, our students answered the call to action following Pearl Harbor 75 years ago today, serving our veterans through education, as well as through research that improves the lives of those wounded in battle, has long been a proud mission of the University of Delaware. Let's all remember everybody who has lost their lives for the benefit of this country and betterment of this world. To lead in scientific discovery and better serve society, we diversified our academic and research experience. For instance, a century ago, we helped develop the new field of chemical engineering, Tundi, and built our program into one of the world's finest, thanks to the close partnership with DuPont. Today, UD is driving global energy solutions, developing new materials, defending critical cyber systems, preserving the world's priceless antiques and photographs, and so much more. To educate a diverse community, we open the university's doors to all students, thanks to the tireless advocacy of Louis Redding, Jr. As Delaware's first African-American lawyer, Mr. Redding greatly influenced our university to live up to its stated ideals. Ultimately, the contributions to society are about our people. I often think about our outstanding faculty, exemplified by Nobel Prize winner Richard Heck and all the fine professors we have inducted into the Francis Allison Society over the years, all 38 of them. Such inspiring people. They personify the mind and the spirit of UD. They are prolific scholars and researchers. They are devoted teachers who believe in the power of active and experiential learning. And they are a powerful magnet for excellent students and staff. Please join us this afternoon for our inaugural academic symposium, where 5 extraordinary faculty members will share fascinating insights about their work and the ideas they are driving forward that dare to change the world. And our students, who create possibility through the rich pursuit of knowledge and the active exchange of diverse ideas. They come here to learn, and yet we learn from them. Many are dedicated to building a more sustainable and socially responsible world. They bring rigor to the classroom, whether it's an art studio, a research lab, or a volunteer program. And excellence comes in many forms. I'm truly energized by the spirit and potential of our students. This is particularly evident in the values and performance of our student athletes. They cherish and cultivate a sense of pride in our blue hands. They're all champions, on and off the field, because UD is a community of winners. In fact, I'd like to recognize the achievement of our spirited field hockey team, who last month won the NCAA Field Hockey National Championship. Go Blue. Of course, one of the most visible and valuable manifestations of the university's contributions to society are our alumni. People like Daniel Nathans, Bob Gore, the Bidens, Susan Stroman, Terry Kelly, Chris Christie, Ann Barretta, John Carney, and Elena Deladon. Let's give all of them a hand. They continue to achieve greatness long after graduation, and they're always loyal to our institution. So now, as I stand before you as the 28th president of the University of Delaware, we must all ask together, what's next? How do we take this rich legacy of discovery, progress, and people forward? How can we impact a new generation? How can we ensure that our university not only endures, but thrives for centuries to come? As a Philhellene, I'm reminded of a word often used by Homer, areti, meaning the constant drive for virtue and excellence. This drive captures our shared aspirations, defines our shared goals, and shapes our ability to meet the next great grand challenges of our future. Our first and most important priority is to ensure the success of every student. This is the fundamental theme that defines everything we do, and one that will continue to define the direction of our institution for years to come. As educators, we have the responsibility to engage and cultivate knowledge among our students, not only in school, but throughout their lives, as they continue to encounter a complex and increasingly more interconnected world. This work begins even before students come to UD. Through partnerships with the K-12 systems, we're helping to close achievement gaps and to strengthen and expand the pipeline of college-ready students. And our commitment carries forward to our campus, where we ensure that all our students are supported for the academic rigors of higher education and have the financial aid they need to complete their UD degree. Education is the primary vehicle for upward mobility in society. And I believe that our society is as strong as its weakest link. Education is crucial to bridge socioeconomic divides and racial tensions, especially today. If we aspire to go far, we must go together. So we have a responsibility to keep education affordable and accessible to everybody in the state of Delaware and the world. And I believe every undergraduate student with the right guidance, support, and analytical tools can earn their degree in 4 years. Our graduation rate is already in the top quartile among the most prestigious public universities in the nation, and we will continue to strive to be among the very best. The promise for student success is strengthened by a broad-based education in the arts, humanities, and sciences. The Greek culture employs the term pedia, meaning the education of the well-rounded citizen. I learned early to value the inspirational power of the arts, the keen insights of the humanities, and the formidable strength of the sciences, especially when we're able to communicate our stories effectively and address policies and human dimensions. So, is the path to success a journey towards academic excellence? Yes. Is it time for personal enlightenment? Absolutely. It is imperative to prepare our students for careers that are both satisfying and meaningful. We must embrace academic disciplines that are robust and integrated as cross-disciplinary connections to advance knowledge and meet the needs of modern workplace. Our evolving classrooms, libraries, and learning commons, leveraging new technologies, online tools, and hybrid pedagogy will expand the use of problem-based learning, a concept that has been one of the cornerstones of the UD experience over the past 2 decades. We will continue to promote our students' awareness of the role that creative thinking plays in understanding, expressing, and improving the human condition. And this means translating the ideas from a textbook into the insights of an experience, the interest in a particular field of study into an awareness of its potential. We want our students to actively participate in their learning, and we must provide them with opportunities to do so. From engaging in research and experiencing firsthand the thrill of discovery, to benefiting from study abroad programs, they'll enter the world to be competitive, curious, informed, and inspired. All of these efforts create the necessary foundation of focus and enlightenment for our students to proceed and succeed. But these future leaders will truly flourish only if we cultivate in them our core values. Diversity, equity, and inclusion are absolutely core to our institutional character and to our educational mission here at the University of Delaware. Our students must know how to live and work in a society that is increasingly more diverse. And I view diversity very broadly, from gender, race, ethnicity, socioeconomic background, sexual orientation and religion, to physical ability and intellectual perspectives. Building and celebrating diversity is crucial in enabling collaboration, openness, trust, and cohesive communities. I am very passionate about embracing diversity and inclusive excellence. And thankfully, so are my colleagues on our faculty, staff, and the Board of Trustees. While building on academic excellence, we're working diligently to recruit and retain students and faculty from underrepresented groups. For example, we will further strengthen UD's prominence in African American material culture studies and public humanities, as evidenced by the prestigious grants and awards from the National Endowment for the Arts, the Modern Language Association, and the Luce Foundation. We're also enhancing our multicultural curriculum to raise students' awareness and consciousness as human beings who can lead and contribute to the opportunities of society that is diverse, inclusive, and creative. Valuing diversity is about appreciating the dignity and worth of every single human being. It's about ensuring an open and welcoming atmosphere, a campus environment in which we respect the unique voice that each of us brings to the conversation. UD and other institutions must ensure that civility, free speech, and diversity coexist and even flourish in our society. In this way, we can be a model for moving our nation and our world forward together. Our future is a shared one, and it's one that will depend on minds that are open and collaborative. With this in mind, we have an obligation as an institution of higher education to develop in our students a strong interdisciplinary and global perspective. The most complex problems we face, such as climate change, energy and sustainability, global health and quality of life, do not adhere to national borders or the boundaries of a single discipline, nor can our attempts to address them. We need economists to work with geologists, artists to work with engineers and designers, teachers and nurses to work with philosophers. Every field must contribute its unique expertise in an integrated manner to address our greatest challenges. Working together, we will promote a greater collaboration among our schools and colleges. To that goal, we envision the launch of a graduate college to act as a catalyst for working effectively across disciplines, promoting the development of new and exciting degree programs, and pioneering interdisciplinary discovery, creativity, and scholarly achievement. Indeed, a stronger investment in graduate education is key to advancing the university's research and scholarly excellence. Within 10 years, we will have doubled the size of our graduate student population and our impact on the world. An integrated approach to education will allow the existing strengths of our undergraduate programs to inform our newly developed graduate programs, and vice versa. The additional resources afforded by these graduate programs will benefit all our undergraduate students. Our approach to building new globally recognized programs will necessitate investment and expansion of our School of Public Policy and Administration, a pivotal area in creating real-world solutions to real-world problems. And while we reach out to our biggest assets for this pursuit, our invaluable alumni, I'd like to leave you with a thought worth pondering. Wouldn't it be great if we could name the school after one of our universities, states, and nation's most distinguished public servants with a lifelong record of governmental stewardship and global leadership? We'll also continue to strengthen our existing graduate and professional education programs to meet the needs of workers and employers. Already, our graduate physical therapy program is the nation's best, thanks in part to our clinic on the Star campus, and we aim to reach that level of recognition and excellence with many other programs. We also recognize the transformative impact that travel and global study of diverse cultures can have on our students. UD invented the study abroad program 100 years ago, and we have so much opportunity to strengthen strategic partnerships in education, research, and engagement around the world. So we will continue to bring UD to the world and bring the world to UD. In this spirit, we will redouble our efforts to grow our international student body so as to enhance the educational experience of all our students. By developing a holistic understanding of our world, our students will become the next change agents in whatever paths they choose to take. Our world needs creative thinkers and big dreamers, our next leaders. So we must nurture our students' imaginations through cultivating a culture of innovation and entrepreneurship, another key institutional priority. Whether launching their own ventures, developing novel solutions to social problems, or joining existing organizations, our graduates must be able to introduce entrepreneurial thought and approaches in everything they do. Right now, more than 1,000 students from a wide variety of majors at UD are benefiting from our entrepreneurial programs. Some find knowledge, skills, connections, and access to critical resources through the Horn Program for Entrepreneurship or the Delaware Innovation Fellows Program. Some are earning a master's degree in entrepreneurship and design, a program that's a joint product of 3 of our colleges. Still others pursue startup funding in our annual Hen Hatch Pitch 90 or First Step competitions. It is critical to our future that we expand these opportunities to draw in every student and college at UD. This innovative spirit is also crucial to the university's fundamental role as an economic engine for our state and region. As the Delaware economy continues to evolve, UD is committed to attracting world-class talent, producing cutting-edge technology, and driving meaningful partnerships with scalable impact. We are in the unique position to enrich Delaware with a fresh culture driven by people who innovate, create, and take risks. As a catalyst for public and private innovation, we have recently expanded our Delaware Technology Park by launching its new site at STAR, our hub for science, technology, and advanced research. DTP at STAR is fully occupied by 11 startups performing cutting-edge work in pharmaceuticals, cancer treatment, nanotechnology, and many other fields. I like to say that we have put STAR into startup. And we will not stop here. We have big plans to develop additional innovation spaces across our campus and throughout our state to complement our existing efforts to attract new partners. Towards that goal, we're in continuous dialogue with the state, DuPont, and other industries to expand opportunities for startup businesses and collaborative R&D. The opportunities are virtually endless and endlessly exciting, I might add. Think about our long history and extensive resources in manufacturing innovation. Examples include our Center for Composite Materials, the Institute for Energy Conversion, our catalysis centers, and the Delaware Biotechnology Institute. These university-led, industry-driven consortia are poised to make significant contributions to the new manufacturing partnerships being forged through the federal government's Manufacturing USA program. As we revolutionize manufacturing, we can also educate the workforce needed to run 21st century factories. This is what we've always been about, activity that is revolutionary. From Richard Heck's pioneering work in catalysis to the invention of our doctoral student Wayne Westerman and his advisor John Elias, who laid the foundation for the touchscreen technologies that are used in most smartphones around the world today, the university is opening doors to new research and doors to new collaborations. Earlier this year, we were honored to host U.S. Energy Secretary Ernest Moniz to explore partnership with national laboratories to contribute our substantial resources to today's most important fields of research and to transform fundamental discoveries into innovation. I believe we'll see more dynamic unions of educational and government leadership at the local, state, and national levels, all coming together to create and articulate visions for a bright future. The university and this state can be at the nexus of such activity. As we collaborate across geography, skill sets, and innovation networks, now is the time to think of Greater Delaware, a region encompassing Philadelphia, New Jersey, Maryland, Washington, D.C., and a bit of New York. These cross-cutting themes, inclusive excellence, an interdisciplinary global perspective, and a spirit of innovation and entrepreneurship will define our students' success. But to make this possible, we must fulfill our aspirations and visions by investing heavily in our intellectual and physical capital. While continuing to grow the faculty in signature areas of strength, we'll build clusters of excellence that lift the entire university. From digital and public arts and humanities to computational social sciences, from cybersecurity to environmental science and engineering, and from microbiology to rehabilitation science, our faculty will work together to answer the grand challenges and elucidate the great debates. In expanding our faculty body, we'll cultivate an ethos that valuates education, research, scholarship, and engagement, as well as their integration across the university. We envision breathing new lives into our storied buildings on the green, as well as creating new buildings. Just this year, we added two outstanding facilities, the nanofabrication facility in the Interdisciplinary Science and Engineering Laboratory, named after President Harker, and the Center for Biomedical and Brain Imaging, which houses the latest functional MRI technology. We will enable interdisciplinary science and policy connections. We will also bring the physical and humanistic worlds closer together. And our students will develop the vital skills of communication, leadership, and critical thinking. Beyond New Arc, we'll continue to expand our footprint and programs and our impact on our campuses in Dover, Georgetown, Lewis, and Wilmington. I cannot tell you how excited I am about our vision for STAR. The STAR campus is a field of dreams. a nearly blank canvas to build the university of tomorrow, where the needs of society drive our education, research, and engagement, and a place where discoveries are translated into practice. It will become a hub of innovation, the beating heart of our state's economy. I am pleased to announce today that our development partners will soon break ground on the new 10-story Star Tower. A bustling mix of students, faculty, clinicians, and community members will work in an environment that fosters collaboration through transparent design and shared spaces. By enabling creative collisions, unique solutions will emerge to help solve some of the world's grand challenges relating to communication disorders, neuroscience, disabilities, and behavioral health. We expect the development of the Star Campus to accelerate in the coming years. Think about an innovation and entrepreneurship building to connect our ideas and our people with the energy of private companies to help drive the region's economy. Or a graduate city, providing homes and a community for the growing number of our doctoral and master's students, as well as to entrepreneurs and employees of the many new companies that will be located at STAR. And all will be served by the Newark Rail Transportation Center that will open in 2018 to leverage our unique central location in the Mid-Atlantic region. Building our intellectual and physical capital is crucial work and essential in ensuring the success of our students. This overarching goal will continue to guide our work and define our institution for years to come ahead. We're proud of the University of Delaware as a place of intellectual transformation and enlightenment. And I fully embrace the motto of our great university: knowledge is the light of the mind. This is a place where we have both the obligation and the privilege to make a difference, to stimulate minds, to always learn, explore, wonder, and persevere. With knowledge comes insight, and with insight, an opportunity to connect values with vision to create positive change for society. Ahead of us lie infinite possibilities. Drawing on the endless inspiration of my colleagues and the limitless potential of our students, I believe we'll continue to build a university that defines success by the values we shape, the intellectual curiosity we cultivate, and the courage we inspire to make a difference in our world. As president of the University of Delaware, I'm committed with my whole heart and soul to making our shared vision a reality. Thank you.
Great job. Congratulations.
Thank you, Dr. Assanis. I'm Ann Beretta, a proud blue hen from the class of 1983 and now president of the University of Delaware Alumni Association. President Assanis, on behalf of the more than 175,000 loyal and spirited blue hens around the world, congratulations on your inauguration as our 28th president of our beloved institution. Wherever you go, you are part of the extended Delaware family and will always be a blue hen forever. Anytime our alumni gather to reflect on our connection to the university, whether at a football game or at a class reunion, one song often fills our hearts, the UD alma mater. The lyrics refer to glorious days at Delaware, so it is fitting that we conclude this ceremony by singing the alma mater as led by the University of Delaware Chorale. Please stand. Hail to thee, proud Delaware, in loyalty we stand. We give thee thanks for glorious days beneath thy guiding hand. Full often will we praise thy name, thy colors proudly bear. We lift our voices now to sing, all hail to Delaware. We lift our voices now to sing, all hail to
Thank you for that beautiful performance of our alma mater. And thank you all, especially Vice President Biden, Governor Markell, Dr. Coleman, for joining us today for this very special moment in our history. And President Assanis, I know I speak for the Board of Trustees and the entire University of Delaware community when I say I'm confident your steady hand and abiding dedication to our students will serve this institution well for many years. We are eager to help realize that bold vision you have set before us. Congratulations, President Assanis. Now I ask that the audience please remain seated during the recessional. I invite everyone to join us in the lobby for a reception, and I hope that you will return to the Thompson Theater at 1:45 this afternoon for our Presidential Inauguration Academic Symposium, featuring our esteemed members of our faculty who will inspire us with their ideas that dare to change this world. To accompany the recessional, we've asked the University of Delaware Choral to perform another piece for us titled, "We Can Mend the Sky." Thank you.
On the behalf of the University of Delaware Chorale, we would like to congratulate President Assanis and First Lady Assanis. The piece that we are about to perform contains text from an old Somalian prophecy. It speaks to the power of unity, and it says that if we come together as one, we can achieve more than we ever thought possible. Now awake in this world, I beg, let my dream come true. Let my dream come true. If we come together, we can mend a crack in the sky. If we come together, we can mend a crack in the sky. If we come together, we can mend a crack in the sky. If we come together, we can mend a together we can